Why we are waiting for the 7,000 years of time? This is 2022, and already, according to the calendar, the 7,000 time has been started. But question is, why the 7,000 years the kingdom of Jesus is not started? What is the reason? And why Jesus did not come yet? All these things we will discuss today. I would like to read Exodus chapter 20 and verse 10. It is written over there. The question is, why we are waiting for the 7,000 years of time? So it's not clearly written in the Bible about the 7,000 years, but there are some symbols, and because of these symbols, we considered the 7,000 of years, the 7,000 of time. In that time, Jesus will rule, and Jesus has a kingdom in which Jesus ruled for 1,000 years. So, what is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 10? But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall don't work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. So in this law, in this commandment, God said the seventh day is a Sabbath, so nobody can do any work, even a person, even an animal. So this is the law, this is the commandment, and the seventh day is a Sabbath. And now I would like to read Psalm chapter 90, Psalm number 90 and verse 4. What is written over there? For 1,000 years in your sight are like yesterday when it is past, and like a watch in the night. David is saying, for 1,000 years in the sight are like yesterday. It means that 1,000 years in the sight of God is just a yesterday which is past, or a night. I would like to read 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8. It is written, but beloved, don't forget this one thing, that with the Lord one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Peter is saying that 1,000 years are in the sight of our Lord is just a one day, is equal to one day, and one day is equal to 1,000 years. So that is why we say that because the seventh day is a Sabbath and 1,000 year is a one day in the sight of God, so the 7,000 years, after 6,000, the next 1,000 years will be the Sabbath among God. in the sight of God. So that is why we are waiting for the 7,000 years of time, and we considered, and it is real that Jesus will rule in this 1,000 years. What is written in Matthew chapter 24? Now I came to that point, that why the 7,000 of years of time is started, but why Jesus still did not come, why his heavenly kingdom is not started. Let's see Matthew chapter 24 and verse 14. It is written over there, and this gospel of kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. First of all, then the end will come. We will discuss upon it. It means that the start of his kingdom will be the end of the world, end of this world. The 7,000 years will be started. Jesus is talking about his kingdom, that when his kingdom will start, he is saying that when the gospel will be preached in all over the world to all nations, then end will come. The kingdom will started at that time. Now the question is, Jesus has gone up to his Father about more than 2,000 years ago. So in these 2,000 years, many missionaries work, many people work. Jesus' disciples worked a lot. A lot of missionaries work in all over the world. Even this Bible reached every corner of the world. Still, the gospel is not preached. Question is this. Here Jesus is saying that when the gospel will reach to all over the world, to all the nations, then Jesus will come. Then end will come. It's mean end will come means then Jesus will come to rule for 1,000 years. So, still gospel is not preached. This is a strange question. Why? Because this Bible is preached all over the world to all the nations, and this Bible is delivered every corner of the world. But what is the reason that Jesus is still not here for his kingdom? He said, again we will see the word, and this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then end will come. When this will be preached to all the nations. So it's mean, we see Revelation chapter 20. We will see this verse, what is written over there. Revelation chapter 20 and verse number 6. Blessed and holy is he who has part in the first resurrection. Over such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Jesus is saying in this line that blessed and holy is he who has the part in the first resurrection. And after first resurrection, there will be the kingdom of Jesus, of kingdom of heaven, in which Jesus will rule, and we all will rule with Jesus for this 1,000 years. This is the seventh day this is the Sabbath we are going to celebrate. But why Jesus did not come? Because about 6022 years has passed till since God made Adam. God created Adam. So seventh day is started, but Jesus is not still here. Still, he did not come for his kingdom. Why? What do you think? Why Jesus did not come? Jesus also said that nobody knows about this. Only God knows. Only Father knows when this time will come. This Bible is preached all over the world. But what God wants, that is the question. He said that when the gospel will reach to all over the world. Do you know what is the real problem? What is the cause that in spite of this Bible reaching in every corner of the world, Jesus did not come? Why his kingdom is not started? His words cannot be changed. He said, when his gospel will reach to all nations. There are 5 things very important. Let's see Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 33. The line I am going to read is read by Jesus. He said, another parable he spoke to them, the kingdom of heaven is like leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal till it was all leavened. He is saying that kingdom of heaven is like leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal till it was all leavened. This line is saying that kingdom of heaven has been leavened. The kingdom of heaven has been leavened, and he said there are he mentioned first of all kingdom of heaven, number 2 leavened, number 3 woman, and number 4 3 measures. These 4 aspects are very important. Why these 4 aspects are talked here in this line? First of all, kingdom of heaven. Yes, kingdom of heaven is coming. What is leaven? What is the character of leaven in law? In the preaching of Jesus? What is the main thing or main characteristic or main cause whenever Jesus talked about leaven? It's mean something which is against the God, something which is against the law of God. So he is saying that his kingdom of heaven has been leavened into 3 measures. What is 3? That is the Trinity. And there are a lot of many things I am going to discuss first, then we will reach to that point. Let's see Mark chapter 8 and verse 15. It will clear the thing what I am talking to you. This verse will clear that. Mark chapter 8 and verse 15. Then he charged them, saying, Take heed, beware of the leaven of Pharisees and the leaven of Herod. This line is said by Jesus. Jesus said, Be careful, beware of the leaven of Pharisees and the leaven of Herod. Who are the Pharisees? Who knows the law of God very well, even who are the teachers of the law and teaching people about the law of God. So he is saying, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. It means Pharisees are adding those things, those leaven which has no connection with God. And Jesus clearly said, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Herod. If you will read Matthew chapter 16 and verse 6. It is written, Then Jesus said to them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Now Jesus is saying, beware of the leaven of Pharisees and Sadducees. And same, we will read the verse 11 and 12. How is it you don't understand that I did not speak to you concerning bread, but to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees? Then they understand that he did not tell them to beware of leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of Pharisees and Sadducees. Jesus is clearly said that I am not talking about the bread. I am talking about to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And he said then to beware of the leaven. I read this line, this verse number 12 again. Then they understand that he did not tell them to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of Pharisees and Sadducees. The doctrine of Pharisees and Sadducees, which they have added in the teaching of God. That is what God said. Jesus is saying to beware of leaven. And he said, the kingdom of heaven has been leavened into 3 measures. So, let's see. We will read 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 6. What is Paul saying? Your glorying is not good. Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? Paul is saying that little leaven leavens the whole lump. So the 3 measures of leaven has leavened all the kingdom of heaven, all the kingdom of God. Let's read Zechariah chapter 5. Jesus talked about a woman who leavened 3 measures. And what is Zechariah saying? Let's see Zechariah chapter 5, and we will read from verse 5 to 11. What is there? Then the angel who talked with me came out and said to me, Lift your eyes now and see what this is that goes forth. So I asked, What is it? What is it? And he said, It is a basket that is going forth. He also said, This is their resemblance throughout the earth. Here is a lead disc lifted up, and this is a woman sitting inside the basket. Then he said, "This is wickedness." And he thrust her down into the basket and threw the lid cover over its mouth. Then I raised my eyes and looked, and there were two women coming with the wind in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the basket between earth and heaven. So I said to the angel who talked with me, "Where are they carrying the basket?" And he said to me, "To build a house for it in the land of Shinar. When it is ready, the basket will be set there on its base." The word basket, here we read, in some Bible the word ephah is used. And ephah is equal to three measures. One measure has 7.20 kg, and an ephah has 21 kg, 21.600 kg. In ephah there is three measures. So it is written in Zechariah that this is an ephah that is going forth. Actually, this line is saying, and what is there in the ephah? There is a woman. We talked about that woman, one woman, 11, the kingdom. 11 into 11, the three measures. And three measures mean ephah. Same like this, the Zechariah is saying, I asked, "What is this?" And he said, "It's a basket." Basket means ephah that is going forth. He also said this is their resemblance throughout the earth. And then this in the verse 11, and he said to me from 10. So I said to the angel who talked with me, "Where are they carrying the basket? Where are they carrying the basket in which that woman is?" The reply is, and he said to me, "To build a house for it in the land of Shinar." We will see in the verse Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 10 that this basket means ephah, holding this woman has taken to Shinar. What is Shinar? We are going to talk about this, and I just tell you before that one ephah is equal to three measures, which means three seah, S-E-A-H, seah, and one seah is equal to 7.200 kg. So we are going to talk about Shinar. What is Shinar? So I would like to say you to read Genesis and chapter 10 and verse 8. To 10. What is written over there? Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of the kingdom of Nimrod, the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, the Babylon, Reach, Akkad, and Kalna in the land of Shinar. We read in Zechariah that woman has taken to Shinar, and here it is written that Nimrod kingdom was started in Babylon, which is in Shinar. And now the question is, what Nimrod did? The main thing is this, That Nimrod was, I am telling you about him, that Nimrod was the son of that woman. It is written in the history. If you will see the history, you will find that Nimrod was the son of that woman who known as Queen of Heaven. Nimrod was the son of that woman who was the Queen of Heaven. History shows that the son of Nimrod called Tammuz was also the son of that Queen of Heaven, because Nimrod took his mother to be his wife. And whatever I am speaking, this is in the history, you can Google it. This is the history. Nimrod is the one who started building the Tower of Babylon to reach God. And he started making this tower against God to reach the God. And everybody knows that God against that tower, and he came and changed the languages. Tammuz, his son, was the one for him. It is written in Hizkiel chapter 8 verse 14 to 16. Let's see Hizkiel. I said that Nimrod is the son of that woman who is the Queen of Heaven, who is known as Queen of Heaven. I will come to this point once again. Let's see Hizkiel and chapter 8 and verse 14 to 16. What is there? So he brought me to the door of the north gate of the Lord house. So he brought me to the door of the north gate of Lord's house, and to my dismay, women were sitting there weeping for Tammuz. In the Lord's house, there are women who are weeping for Tammuz. Then he said to me, have you seen this, O son of man? Turn again, you will see greater abominations than these. So he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and there are the door of the temple of the Lord between the porch and the altar were about 25 men with their backs toward the temple of the Lord and their faces towards the east, and they were worshipping the sun towards the east, and they are worshipping sun. First thing I told you that it is written that women are weeping for Tammuz, who is the son of Nimrod. History says that Tammuz is the son of Nimrod, and in Ezekiel, women are weeping for Tammuz. They are worshipping like this. And then he said that when the men of God go inside, and there are 25 people whose faces towards east, and the temple of God is behind their back, and which is against the God. Always the worship is done in front. Keep the temple in the front, but their back is on the temple, and their faces are towards east. Actually, what are they doing? They are worshipping sun. And Tammuz is known as sun god. Tammuz is known as sun god. So this woman is went to Shinar, and then Nimrud came, and then Tammuz came, and the sun god came into the world, and all these things are against God. So this leaven is leavened by that woman in the law of God. So Now let's see what Mark 7 says. What Jesus is saying in Mark chapter 7 and verse 7 to 9. It is written, Jesus himself is saying, and in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrine the commandments of men. Jesus is saying, and in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrine the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandments of God, you hold the tradition of men, the washing of pitchers and cups, and many other such things you do. He said to them, all too well, you reject the commandments of God that you may keep your traditions. In these verses, Jesus clearly said that you prefer the commandments of men rather than God's commandment. So that is the leaven leavened by that woman, that old people. And if we will discuss, if we will read all this chapter for the beginning, you will see that Jesus is talking with the Pharisees and the teachers of law. So Jesus is saying to them that you have added such things which God has no connection, and you are following the commandments of men rather than God. And he clearly said that he said to them, all too well you reject the commandments of God. So what is in Jeremiah? Let's see. I told you about before that. I will came to that woman again. Jeremiah chapter 7 and verse 18. It is written over there, the children gather wood, the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead dough to make cakes for the Queen of Heaven, and they pour out drink offering to other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. This line is showing about that woman that is called the Queen of Heaven. And I already talked you that the Namrud's mother and wife, which was his wife also, is known as Queen of Heaven, and she is called Esther, and she has many names, and she is also known as Diana after time to time. Time to time, devil change his name, but the tradition is same coming from the beginning, from Babylon. And we read in Zechariah that Ephah, that woman, is sent to Shinar. And what is in Zechariah? That it is wickedness. This woman is wickedness. Wickedness went to Shinar. Shinar means Babylon, the great. And all the wrong things started from the Babylon. And Nimrod started working against God, and then it's keep on, and still it is keeping on by many ways. In Revelation, it is written that the old the snake, he is known as I am talking about the verse in where it is written, the devil who is misleading all the world. So still we are being misled by him. So what we are doing, thinking this, that we are following the God. There are many traditions which has no concern with God, and that harlot is leading us by teaching us those things which has no concern with God, like Christmas, Easter. Easter is the name of a goddess. What Easter? And Easter date is always changed, and it is always in the time when this Easter goddess has a ceremony. So let's see the verse, Revelation chapter 17. What is written over there? Chapter 17 and verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Revelation is saying that there is a woman who is sitting on a beast, and this beast, first of all, this woman is full of the name. I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which beast was full of the names of blasphemy. Having this beast is full with the name of blasphemy, and this beast has 7 heads and 10 horns. What is means by 7 heads and 10 horns? That is the main reason. Now we are going to discuss about it. What 7 horns, 7 heads and 10 horns mean? Let's. It is read. It is over there in the same chapter, verse 9 to 10. We will read upon it. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. 7 heads are 7 mountains. Mountains mean strong thing, strong material which cannot be abolished easily. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. It is clearly said that these are 7 kings. 5 has gone, 1 is at the time, and 1 is going to come. 5 has gone, Egypt and Babylon, and there are 5 kings, big kings, who keep the Israel in slavery. There are 5 big nations, big powerful nations. This line is talking about the 5 big nations which has already gone. 1 is there. When this revolution is written, the government is going on, the government at that time was Rome, and it is saying 5 has gone, 1 is present, and 1 is going to come. So this line is telling about that. And then he said, verse number 12, the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have received no kingdom as yet, but they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. And what about 7 heads? These are the kingdoms. What about the 10 horns? 10 horns also the king, but these will come at that time when these things will happen. So these 7 heads and horns are about the kingdoms, and in 7 heads, 5 has gone, 6 was Rome, and the 7th will come, and it already come. 7th is already come. You can read. You can take the video from my channel about this also. So he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Then we read 17:9 and 12. This harlot is ruling the nation with different names and always known as virgin. Also, this is the symbol of this harlot, that is always known as virgin. And let's see chapter 17 and verse 18. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 18. And the woman whom you saw is that great city. The woman you saw is the great city which reign over the kings of the earth. Which reign over the kings of the earth. The great city. What is great city? Babylon. What is Babylon? Where is Babylon? Shinar. What is the quality of Shinar? That woman was sent to Shinar. So all these things are connected. And the woman whom you saw is the great city. All these things are symbolic. And the woman whom you saw is the great city which reign over the kings of the earth. And this is very clear now. Why Jesus talk about the leaven which was leavened by a woman? Revelation 18 and 7. What is written over there? In the measure that she glorified herself and lived luxuriously, in the same measure give her torment and sorrow. For she says in her heart, I sit as queen and am no widow and will not see sorrow. That woman is saying about herself. And I told you before that this woman is ruling from about 4300, more than 4300, with different names. The only name is changed, but the things are the same. And in the time after Jesus, after disciples, in the time of Constantine, there was a goddess called Diana. That woman, after changing name, and came to Diana. And in the time of Constantine, that woman has been changed her name and named as Mary, the mother of Jesus. And it came to existence. And still now, that woman of Babylon, now it is in the form of Mary. And all these things, what Babylon is doing, and same these things are inserted in Christianity. And now I came to the first verse I told you before, that Jesus said that when all the gospel will reach to all nations, then the end will come. So the reason is this, that this Bible must has gone. But what is the teaching? The teaching gone, which is belongs to Babylon, which is belongs to that woman. The original teaching is still there. All the more than 90% Christians are acting in the way which devils want. There are many traditions, a lot of traditions which God has no concern, and which are against the law of God. So until the real gospel will not reach to all nations, the end will not come. Jesus will not come. And Jesus clearly said, again we will read this verse, Matthew chapter 24 and verse 14. Now read again and it will clearly understandable. And the gospel of kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come.